Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's Macklin Gaming, and you might notice if you watch my videos, I like to be positive for the most part in my videos. I watch some YouTubers that are just like constantly negative in their videos. It's all like rage bait and anger videos, and it's like, I don't want to be that guy. So that's not what my channel's about. I just like to play games and talk about them and come here to this channel to bring that energy, right? But today is a different kind of video. Something is happening at Sony PlayStation that you just can't deny is a problem. And it's been happening. I gave them the benefit of the doubt for the last 5 years. It's since the PS5 has come out. And what am I talking about? The first party games specifically are like nowhere to be found anymore. And a lot of the companies at Sony have wasted their time. So let's get into that and all the bad news that comes with it. So I think this situation at Sony goes back years to when live service games were popping off like Overwatch and Fortnite. And I think Jim Ryan at the time, who was like the creative lead at Sony, not creative, but you know, the business lead, was like, we should make more live service games. And there was also this guy, Herman Holst, who was working there. He's like, yeah, Jim, let's make a lot of live service games for the next 8 to 10 years. And here we are, fast forward to the present. Jim Ryan is gone and Herman Holst is filling the role. And I think Sony got another new like CEO to come in and correct like the awful, you know, business moves that have been happening between Jim Ryan and Herman Holst. So they greenlit so many live service games, and we're seeing the fruits of those games now. Or really are we? Because we saw Helldivers too, and that popped off. But after that, we heard a lot of really bad news in the last year of cancellations of live service games. So this is the important bit. There are first party Sony studios that have been working on live service games for like 5 years, and they just got canceled, like completely axed. Like they're not gonna be coming out at all. It feels like a waste of time, a huge waste of time. So who was that? Bluepoint Games and Naughty Dog. As far as I know, there might be more. We'll talk about that. But I want to focus on these because these are important. Like Naughty Dog is the Last of Us creators. You know, they have not shipped a game on PS5. They've tried to ship The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 like 5 different times with remakes and stuff, you know? So those are on PS5, but you have to be real. Those are old games, you know? The Last of Us 1 is a PS3 game, and The Last of Us Part 2 came out on the PS4, like right at the end of the PS4. So I understand them, you know, giving it a little frame rate upgrade and resolution upgrade, but they completely like remade Last of Us Part 2. Not necessary. And so over the last 5 years, what have they been doing? They've been making a Last of Us online game, Last of Us Factions. And this game got canceled. Why? Because another studio called Bungie, you know, the creators of Halo, Sony brought them in to be the live service guru team, right? To help them get through this next generation of so many live service games. Bungie said no to Naughty Dog's Last of Us Factions. They're like, we're looking at this and this isn't good enough. Now, if you look today at Bungie, oh my gosh, it is in shambles. That studio is embarrassing themselves. They've stolen art from an artist and put it in their live service game, which looks trash, called Marathon. You know, that's gonna come out this year and it's gonna bomb, or they're gonna delay it because this is a huge scandal for Bungie. They look like they're about to just implode and deteriorate, which is sad because they used to be the original Halo guys, right? So anyway, that is a long list of like crazy stuff happening because of live service games inside Sony, where the first party teams are wasting their time. So you had Naughty Dog wasted 5 years, and now they're gonna make Intergalactic, which is their new first party game, and that'll probably come out like on the PS6, you know, maybe at the very, very end of the PS5. So that's a crazy waste of a generation for one of the biggest studios at Sony. And the other one I was talking about is Bluepoint, and how I believe they were working on a God of War live service game, if you can believe that. They were the team that remade Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4, and it was brilliant. And I think that like made Sony purchase them. And then they made Demon Souls remake as well for the PS5. So Bluepoint is now a first-party Sony team. They're making all these remakes. Everyone is screaming for Bloodborne remake out of Sony, and they have the team right there to do it. And what do? They put them on a live service God of War game. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it is. Like, it's such a waste of time, and I think that got canceled too. So Bluepoint has wasted the last 5 years as well as Naughty Dog, and Bluepoint Games could have been making Bloodborne remake. That's what I'm saying. And if they're not switching over to that right now inside Sony, like, I don't know what they're doing over. They have to be making that now that they got canceled off of the God of War game, because it's crazy to have these two big studios in the last 5 years shipping nothing, and everyone's screaming for the obvious Bloodborne remake, and Bluepoint is the team to do it. So come on, they have to do that. To look on the bright side a bit, over the last 5 years, I've had the PS5. I've really actually enjoyed a lot of the games that have come out. Like, let's talk about the first party games. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I remember, was really big as a first party game. Then you had, you know, Spider-Man 2, those are Insomniac carrying the PS5. You had God of War Ragnarok. That's a great game. There's nothing wrong with it. It wasn't like a letdown. It's amazing. You know, Horizon, say what you want about that series. I don't care for it. But Forbidden West is like a big open world game. So there are these first party games coming out, and they're not busts. Like, they're good games. They're great. You know, so this year also we have Ghost of Yotei coming out. You know, Ghost of Tsushima is like one of my favorite new, like, exclusive, it's not new anymore, but exclusive IPs to Sony. So I think Ghost of Yotei will come out this year, and I think it will be really good. I'm not saying that the games are bad. They're just few and far between from the first party teams at Sony. And because of this, like, live service infestation, if you will, you know, these teams have, a couple of the first party teams have really been wasting their time. Not all of them, but, you know, those important ones I mentioned, like Naughty Dog and Bluepoint. But as far as me and my PS5 console, I love the console. Like, it plays most games 60 FPS, you know. It was a great upgrade from the PS4, playing most games at 30. So I love my PS5. I've played so many great games on it because there have been a lot of third-party games, and I love that system for all the third-party games, right? So I'm not saying the PS5 sucks. I'm just saying the first-party team development situation at Sony is right now in shambles. Like, and we're in the second half of the development cycle of the generation for the console. We're in the second half, so like maybe we're in the dying years even. Like, maybe only 2 to 3 more years, if you can believe it, of the PS5. Like, what's gonna come out in that short amount of time? We'll have to see though. You know, I want it to be good. Like, that's why I'm hard on Sony in critiquing them so much. I want, you know, the games to be flowing, and I want these first party teams to be having success. I don't like, and I don't laugh at the fact that they were wasting their time and had their games canceled. So what do you guys think about PlayStation and the state of their first party games right now? You think they're in good shape and the PS5 has been strong this generation? Or do you think they're in shambles and they really need to figure out a new process and get rid of these live service games? Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.